a lot of times people will give the impression when they're talking about what nervous system regulation is, that it's just about becoming calm, or it's just about being soothed. And I know I've spoken to this before, but we probably can't say it enough around here. I see the experience of when we're regulated as creating an experience that helps us be dynamic, where we can actually live in that window of tolerance and build our capacity so that we can embody and befriend our full spectrum of human experience. So we can be angry and regulated. We could be sad and regulated. We could be ecstatic and regulated. We could be super frustrated. We could be full of grief and regulated. We could have joy and regulated. I think a lot of folks think, oh, when we get regulated, we're just like that flat line, boring. That's not what we're going for here. We're going for building that ability to be with it all, to building a relationship, just like Ela named, with our own responses, with the responses of the people around us, the responses of the planet. How are we able to be in that relationship in a friendly, curious way so that we feel centered, present, and able to really fully be there for it without going into those, what we call defensive coping strategies, where we numb out, fight, flight, freeze, you name it, right? Can we actually just be here without those stress responses taking us out of the present moment and meet it as a friend? Yeah, aliveness, or that dynamicness, it gives us choice, and with the aliveness that comes in, or is honestly already there, we just kind of create space for it to emerge in a way that feels safe enough. We have so much more range to experience our humanity. And so the nervous system regulation work that we do a lot here, the transforming presence or transforming touch work, is built on regulation, and that is built on relationship. Self-regulation isn't really a thing. We don't learn how to regulate by ourselves. We learn how to regulate in relationship to others, relationship to the earth. We're not in a vacuum as human beings. And so that work is built entirely on how are we meeting this moment together? How are we supporting? What happens as we support your kidneys together? Or how are we welcoming what happens as we're supporting your brainstem together? And when we're together in the experience, no matter what is happening, whether or not we're doing intentional touch work or a coaching, a different kind of coaching intervention, it's the togetherness that is the deep medicine. I'm here with you no matter what we're facing, no matter what we're pulling up our sleeves to meet together. And we learn regulation originally, hopefully, if we're fortunate, in relationship to our primary caregiver or caregivers. We learn how to be soothed, how to be safe enough to be expressed, how to regulate basic things like digestive system, hormonal systems, breathing, heart rate. That's the autonomic nervous system. That also gets supported in connection. And so when we're doing things, even in a group, we're together in it. In every practice we do, y'all are moving for the music, I'm moving with you. I'm not off checking my phone or running downstairs, like we're all here in this experience, meeting the moment together. It's not that things like cold showers and Wim Hof breathing and weighted blankets and gargling water, that those things don't help. But we're talking like foundational level. What do we have at that base level? We can't regulate with those practices if we don't have that foundational relational regulation on board. So yeah. Well, if we think about it from the clients we're working with, it's a client by client basis. It's not that we can't self-regulate, but if clients aren't getting better, if they aren't feeling better, if they're out in the world and they're constantly out of their window of tolerance, that's gonna send me some information going, I think that they can't actually access those practices in a way that's feeling empowering for them. And so I can't keep giving them to them because they're gonna keep failing at it. And that feels like shit. And so let's just keep remembering the foundation of the relational work, like that is first and foremost how we lead, right? As practitioners. And of course we can offer tools. It's not really up to us, like what their self-responsibility is. If they can't stay regulated, they can't stay regulated. All of us wish we could be self-responsible, but sometimes we hit those young parts that just need a little extra connection. When we're in those healing phases, when we can't stay in our window of tolerance, when we don't have the capacity to meet things that are overwhelming, the deepest medicine is going to be a relationship. Obviously, these other things help, but if we're not seeing significant change and significant, like more freedom, more joy, more ease, that it's a clue to go, some more relational support might be helpful. And I don't want to send this, I don't want to send the message, especially those of us with intense complex PTSD or developmental trauma, like you need to find that relationship for healing, because, oh my goodness, for me, for years, I would just collapse in tears every time I heard that. Like, I've been looking, I can't find that healing relationship. I'm trying. And so we don't want to add additional stress to that. We just know this, that it can be a window or a doorway to some really beautiful healing. Obviously, there are many. And that's why I like to start with a resource like a tree, right? Or a pet, some living, breathing being in place of humans. Because for many of us, humans were not safe people or things to have needs with, to lean into, to be dependable, to be consistent, and let alone be healing, right? And so we start where we can with a living, breathing being that it feels safe enough. And then over time, we maybe can let in a person or two or three, and allow ourselves to lean in. So I don't want to be standing on this pedestal being like, we need that healing relationship now. It's a process and it takes time. But the aim of the transforming presence work we do is relational. Like we're learning regulation in connection. And that's the gold of it, really, the medicine of it. I love that. We can stay with them as long as they need us to. And then at some point they'll come back and be like, I did it. I used it, and then they start like taking more space from us, and then they're on their own. But if we can stay with them as long as they need, it can be really helpful.